Hey, what's going on, guys? You got Professor O coming through the dose of that good yo. Come everywhere like broken glass, move around like a circle. Anyway, anyhow, let's get down to this round now. Today I want to talk about they gotta want it. What do I mean by they gotta want it? Listen, you gotta put in that hustle. Listen, I'm all about faith. Trust me, faith is the substance of things hoped for. But at the same time, it also said, you show me your faith, I'll show you. You show me your works by faith, I'll show you by faith by works. See, realize a lot of people want the glory, but they don't want the story. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, you gotta want it. It's gotta be something in you to really put that to, how can I say, put it to the point where you transform into the future self that you see yourself as. That's what it's all about. It's all about elevation, constant state of development. We never ever mature. Nah, I don't. If you know you've been watching my channel, you know I don't use that term maturity. Why? Because we're not fruits and vegetables. We're in constant state of development, constantly evolving, constantly spinning, constantly keeping in that good. So can you dig what I'm saying right now? You better keep up. All right now. Anyway, anyhow, let's get down to this round now. You know I got the handy dandy notebook in the spot. Don't make it hot. Who's clearly still writes his clip? Clearly your boy still does. Don't hate me because you ate me. Maybe you need to meditate or levitate. Just appreciate, never deviate. Or whatever the case may be. I don't know. But you know I'm gonna keep giving out this coolness. Can you dig what I'm saying? Anyway, let's get down to this round. In order to help folks, they gotta want it. Point blank, period. Literally like that. They gotta want it. Why? Because if you knew better, you'd do better. And if you want better, you get to getting into better. Simple as that. You can't help anybody, or even in these videos right here, for anybody that actually watches this, and I appreciate all my little views, whether they be single-sided, double-sided, triple-sided, whatever the case may be, whatever amount of views that I get, I appreciate for you even tuning in, because number one, you see that I'm sexy. Number two, you like how I'm talking. And number three, again, you see how I'm sexy. I think you can dig exactly what I'm speaking about. But that just shows again that you want something because I'm saying something, and at the same time you want something more from yourself. Because again, this channel is all about inner work. Doing the inside to comprehend the outside. Point blank, period. No more, no less. All right? We avoid the stress because you know we're the best. Can you dig what I'm saying? All right, I think you can. Folks want the destination and not the journey. The journey is the jewel and the reward. Literally. And I mean that in the most literal, figuratively, metaphoric, symbolic, whatever the case you want to talk about. Literally. Why? Because at the same time, that's where you get the gems, that's where you get the jewels, that's where you get all the diamonds, the rubies, the sapphires, the azules, whatever the case may be, whatever you want to call it. It's all in the journey. It's always been in the journey. Why is it in the journey? Because at the same time, this is when you truly start to comprehend exactly who you are, why you are, and how you are, and when you're going to be able to be a better person, a better individual. It's all in the journey. Then when you arrive to your destination, you've already been prepped and prepared because your journey is what prepared you for that point. Point blank, period. It's no more, no less. There's nothing to it but to do it in that sense of case, right? You got a lot of individuals out here, what they like to do is they crave the destination. They crave that endpoint, and so they put on, or they see people who reach their endpoint, and they see like, oh wow, this is really good. Because when you hit that endpoint, you're not the same person who you was when you started, but you're definitely have that same resonance. Like it's something very familiar about you, but you're completely different. This is when you have reached a constant state of development. You hit a point of development where now it's like, all right, I know I'm talking to the same individual because I know him, they look the same similarly, maybe even change, maybe had physical change, but at the same time, something more weightier, something more bigger, something more heavier in the situation. Why? Because you have become something great. What did you become in that journey? It is what it is, and whatever you took. But when you get to the destination point, that is when you become that beauty, that awe-inspiring individual, because you are something inspirational at that point. So others, what they see, they'll want to put on the final product or the final point or the final jewel that you receive, whatever the case may be. And think about it, they'll do it. You know what I mean? Folks will do it. They'll definitely do it. And they'll get away with it for a couple of times. You'd be surprised. They'll put it on. They'll be like, oh yeah, they'll go with other crowds, say something that you said. They don't even understand the full longevity or the full weight of what you're saying. It's not really a well-rounded statement when they say it. It's well-rounded when you say it, because you've been around the whole entire block. You understand that you shaved it down and now it became smooth. Your rough edges now became smooth and now you're sexy. You're like me. Can you dig what I'm saying? But then others will put on that final inspiration, and then they'll try and get the same effect, and they will work with people who are unaware or unknowingly of the path. But with people who are taking their own path, they'll be like, oh wow, that's something, they'll dig a little deeper, because now you got to realize when you're dealing with individuals who's on the same path and that's growing, you have something to ricochet with. Like you say something, I say something to you, you say something to me, and then we can ricochet back because we took a similar path. Now the path of the destination may have been completely different, but the fact of the matter is that we went inside to do the inner work. That in itself is what makes everything similar. Why? Because we took that initiative, we took that responsibility to see yourself where you are. Remember, I say this all the time. This is when you get that eureka moment, but it's not necessarily a eureka moment. It's not the aha, it's when the light turns on in the inside of you. You see for what it is. You see the dirt in the inside. Now it's up to you to pick up that dustpan and broom. You pick up that dustpan and broom, what else happens? You know what you have to do. You got to pick up the dustpan, you pick up the broom, you sweep up, you clean up, and then you start to refine yourself. You take out some traits that don't work, you refine the traits that do work, you add in some traits that will be able to complement who you are to get you to the point where you need to be. Now, when that light turns off, and when you turn it off because you don't want to do it, ain't nothing wrong with me, look at me, bam, you turn that off, and then now you're still dirt, and now you got more dirt in there. What happens to dirt? Dirt becomes mold, and dirt starts to fester, and then you add in more traits. Why? Because you add in traits of more comfortability. Remember, this is surgical removal that we're talking about, and when you're being surgical, you're being very meticulous, which means you're being very detailed. And if you're being very detailed, then it means you're getting down to the nitty-gritty at all points. Remember, when you're looking at yourself from the inside, remember, wounds is going to heal regardless. It doesn't matter if they're internal or external. You have a body, you have a supercomputer body that's going to be able to heal itself autonomously. Now, the interesting thing about it, if it's not healed properly, that doesn't mean healing factor won't kick in. You got to realize you can break your leg the next day. If you don't go to the doctor and get a cast, it's going to heal, but it can heal improperly. This is what happens when people put on masks and they put on problems and they try to hide behind the issue instead of actually tackling the issue on the inside. They heal wrongly, and when they heal incorrectly, this is what it doesn't. You get people that have complexes now. You have people that they don't want to be, it turns into pride, and then they start leaning into the 7 deadly sins. They become wrathful, they become lustful, they become sinful, they lean into one of those categories, literally, because they don't have room to grow anymore, because they're making excuses for their growth instead of looking at it. Because we got to realize, once you're doing the inner work, I would never sit here and say that the inner work is easy. I would never sit here and say that I am infallible, I am perfect, look at me. But I will sit here and say that I am sexy. That is something I will say, and I know you can agree to it. But what I am here to say is that I'm never going to sit here and say, first of all, I can't tell you how you feel. Second of all, I'm not going to ever say this is an easy path. Thirdly of all, what I can say is that it's worth it. Why? Because you get to become the version that you see that you are, and you can see your growth from it. And then you start to add in powerful traits. Remember, the simple traits are the most powerful one. When you're becoming more steadfast, you're becoming more humble, you're adding in more love. And I'm not talking about human love when it becomes more conditional, what you do for me and what I do for you. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about love when it's that God love, because God has showed you grace, so you do likewise. When you're becoming more understanding, a soft answer turns away wrath, while harsh words stirs up anger. Can you dig what I'm saying right now? I'm speaking very powerful right now. I need you to keep up. Excuse me if I speak a little bit too fast. I just got a little bit passionate, and again, I am too sexy for this shit. Can you dig what I'm talking about? I think you can. Let's get down to this right now. I got more points to prove. They'll talk it and walk it until the sunset and the moon rise, but once it's time to address it directly, excuses. I need you to really understand that. This is when you're talking about the individuals that put on the final point that they see in the other life. Because again, when you reach to the end point of whatever destiny, of whatever path you took, remember that jewel that you get at the end, it's so powerful. When you start to use it, it becomes awe-inspiring, it becomes beautiful. It has so much of an effect because it's original. You know what I mean? It's something God made in that situation, because God walked with you in that path, literally. Simple as that. Remember, you got to always give it back to God. You could do it yourself, 1,000%. God has given you free will. But whatever was man-made was God-made first. Can you dig what I'm talking about? All right, let's always go back to the original. I think that you can. Don't ever get too prideful now. Let's see, folks would rather make excuses than make changes, and that's literally what it is. Like, you'll hear them all the time. Oh, I'm a little bit too busy. Oh, I don't really feel like it. Oh, I got this thing going on, this, that, and the third. Again, I'll tell you, everybody got something going on, period. This is why you can't judge anybody. Everybody got something going on with their life. Seriously, they either got obligations with their children, their parents, their priorities, their workplace, whatever the case may be. They all have a busy schedule. Everybody literally are given similar 24 hours today. Some may have more responsibilities than others, but some may have more drive than others, period. Because again, it's just what it is. I would never sit here and compare problems, because at the same time, what you're going through, I can't sit here and say, oh, if I was in your shoes, I'd be able to do this. I don't know it. Neither you can say that for me. But what I can say is that it's possible. Because if you thought it, And that means if you wanted it for yourself, then that means internally your higher self literally is saying like, yo, listen, this is something you need to do because you felt it, you thought it. So if you thought it, then it's possible. But now, do you want to put in the effort behind it? That's up to you. And a lot of people don't want to do it. They'll just put it to the wayside. I guess, that's a good little thought, etc. so forth. Because let me tell you something, it's achievable, but don't ever get it twisted. Like, this definitely, listen, the world gonna test that. Oh, you want this? All right, cool. Let's see how consistent you are. Because it's yours, but you got to become a different version of yourself to be able to have it in your possession. You can't just sit, you think your future self, if you see yourself being a multi-billionaire, multi-millionaire, you see yourself being a super successful individual, do you really think who you are now is who you are there? Nah, you got to align yourself to that frequency, which means you got to start buckling down. You got to start doing some cool stuff. You got to add in some new traits. You got to discard some new traits. Maybe your circle got some squares in it. You got to remove it. You got to be more smooth. You got to be more cool. You got to start applying yourself to a more sexier state. This is not for play. It's not for fun. It's your life. Get in tune. When you want something, you'll be excited to attain it. And I mean that, yo. Like, for real. When you really want something in your life and you want it, not just because you need it. Like, you always put your needs before your wants, but when you want your needs, you're going to be excited to obtain it. You're going to put yourself in a position to get to it. Period. It ain't no in between. It ain't no not. You want it and you're going to get it. Anything that you want, you get excited to go get. Simple as that. A lot of people don't get excited for their needs. This is why they put their needs to the back burner and always prioritize their wants. And that's the issue. Get excited for your needs and then you'll be able to achieve. Folks want the shiny things, but don't want the traits to obtain them. Literally. People want to be able to, like, for instance, I see all the time, people want to have this beautiful body that's able to do miraculous things, but you're not eating correctly. You're not exercising to the point where you want to be at the point where you want to be at. You just don't want to do it. And I agree. Listen, I will never sit here and give anybody excuses, and I will never sit here and judge you for who you are and what you're doing. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that you can't be jealous of other people's hard work. You don't know what they did for that. You don't know what they put in work to do. You don't know it. You don't know how much they worked out. You don't know how much they had to change their living habits, their eating habits, their perspective, what they're ingesting as far as entertainment-wise to keep a steady mind above their shoulders. You don't know what they're doing behind these closed doors. You don't know the things that they had to let go of to obtain. You don't know. So you can't sit there and judge and be like, well, they got it so easy. Nah, it's not easy at all. They just make it look easy. That's how you know you're wearing success. That's how you know God is with you, for real. And you putting God first, and that God energy is flowing through you, you're able to achieve miraculous things because you're not looking what you're going through. That's how you know this is real talk. Like, you're not, trust me, I will never sit here and say, like, it's easy. It's never easy. But is it worth it? Of course. Because you'll be able to get the things that you need, and God will provide it for you. But you got to align yourself up to that. Definitely. God is not going to give you something that'll hurt you or squander you. You know what I mean? He's not going to give you a blessing that you're going to squander. He's going to give you a blessing that you deserve. And the beautiful thing about it is that you will never ever deserve it because he works abundantly. He doesn't work with equality. I'm talking to you now. You better take it. You better step up. That's it. That's it right there. Again, this message is for the adept out there, for the master expert, the proficient, efficient, and self-efficient, the one that's always doing it and never losing it, that's growing and going at all times. Keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. And remember, speak good, do good, see good, because when it is good, it's all good. Can you dig it? And for the haters out there that love looking at your boy, make sure you look on my good side, because you know that I'm sexy. Can you dig what I'm saying? I think you can. Peace, love, and light. I'll see you guys in the next video.